These are the 7 levels of intimacy with God. Level 1 is belief. And before you decide you're past this one, you need to hear what it actually looks like, because the people most likely to skip it are exactly the people most likely to be living there. Here's what level 1 actually looks like. You're going about a completely normal day. Nothing dramatic, nothing falling apart. And at some point, maybe driving, maybe at work, maybe lying in bed at night, it occurs to you that God hasn't crossed your mind once. Not because you're angry at him, not because you've walked away, just because the day ran on its own and he wasn't in it. And the part that should unsettle you more than it does is that it doesn't feel like a problem. It just feels like a regular day. That's level 1. Not the person who rejected God, not the person who walked away, the person who believes, genuinely, sincerely, without pretending, and whose belief has almost no effect on how the week actually runs. He's real. He's just not present. Not in the room where decisions get made. Not in the conversation that happened this morning. Not in the ordinary, unremarkable, nothing going wrong Tuesday that passed without a single moment of actual awareness that he was there. And here's what makes level 1 so hard to recognize from the inside. It doesn't feel like distance. It feels like normal. The faith is genuine. The belief is real. There's just a gap between what the person believes and how they actually live that has been there so long it stopped registering as a gap at all, like a clock on the wall you stopped hearing years ago. It's still ticking. You just don't notice it anymore. Isaiah 29:13 exposes this with precision that should make every comfortable Christian slow down. These people honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. Jesus quoted that verse, and he didn't quote it about pagans. He didn't quote it about people who had openly walked away from God. He quoted it about people who were showing up, singing, doing the religious things correctly, people whose lips were completely in alignment and whose hearts were somewhere else entirely. That's not a verse about atheists. That's a verse about the person who drove home thinking about lunch. Romans 10:9 tells us that belief, genuine confessional belief, is the beginning. If you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. The door opens. You're in. But salvation was never the ceiling, it was the floor, and Ephesians 2:10 makes clear that the life on the other side of that door was always designed to be a moving life, created in Christ Jesus for good works that God prepared in advance for us to walk in, not sit in, walk in. Belief was never the destination, it was always the beginning of movement toward one. And here's the part nobody says out loud. Most people were handed a version of Christianity that made belief the finish line. Pray this prayer, mean it. You're in. What came after the prayer was never made as urgent as the prayer itself. So millions of people crossed the threshold, genuinely, sincerely, and quietly stopped there. Not out of rebellion, not out of laziness, because nobody told them clearly enough that the house went deeper, and that what's deeper is not more obligation. It's more of the person